Welcome to the ARE Animal Rescue Cattery Volunteer Training video. The purpose of this video is to give you an overview of what to expect when volunteering at an ARE Cattery location. You will need to watch this video in its entirety and complete a quiz before you're ready to train in person. So pay close attention. Let's get started. First, I want to give you a quick overview of what ARE Animal Rescue is. ARE Animal Rescue is a no-kill, high-volume private rescue located in Riverside County, with most of the cats coming from Hemet. Between 500 and 1,000 animals are in the rescue's care at any given time. The rescue assists with over 3,000 adoptions every year, and you can learn more about the rescue on our website and Facebook group. I'll include links in the video. So the cats come from either being owner surrenders, they could be strays found outside, and then some of those strays found outside are pregnant moms, and they give birth in the rescue's care, so that's how ARE ends up with cats. All of the cats at the Cattery have been spayed or neutered, they're up to date on their age-appropriate vaccinations, they've been microchipped, and they're believed to be healthy, with any known health conditions disclosed to adopters as a part of the adoption process. With introductions out of the way, I'm now going to jump into the main content of the video, which is going over everything that a Cattery volunteer shift consists of. During a shift, we care for the cats, perform adoptions, and we clean. I'll also give you a tour of PetSmart. So this is the cat care basics. Every shift, you're going to let each kennel of cats out, one kennel at a time. You'll keep notes for each kennel. You're going to fill their food and water bowl, noting the previous levels. Clean the litter box, noting the presence of pee and poop, and noting the poop type using the chart. You'll clean the kennel. You're going to dust it out with the dustpan, and then as needed, if you see spots of poop or like boogers or anything gross in there, you can wipe that out with a paper towel with either water or Virex spray. And then for the glass, we use per diem spray. I'll show you those later. If the blanket in their kennel looks dirty, you can shake it out, and if it looks really dirty, you can put it into the laundry and replace it with a clean one. And then, of course, you'll get to play with and pet the cats, so you can write down how they did behaviorally. So we have nice notes for them for getting them adopted. So this is our playroom for our Cattery. When you walk into the Cattery, you'll be here. This is where we let adopters meet the cats, and this is also where they get to play. There's a cat tower, there's lots of toys. You can see some of the adoptions we've done here before on the walls. On the door, you'll see a ladder and some toys, some wand toys that are great for the cats. And then you can walk into the main hallway. This is where our cats are. So you can see here's Kennel 1. You can see there's some information posted about all the cats that are in Kennel 1. And then it's labeled as Kennel 1. All of our kennels have labels. This is Kennel 2, and there is Mavis in Kennel 2. And then down below is Felix in Kennel 6. So all of our kennels have that posted info about the cats in the kennel, a brush to clean out the kennel with, and then a number for the kennel so we can mark that in the notes, which you're about to see. And then here's our whiteboard. Shows all the cats that we have at the Cattery, lots of reminders, sometimes these change, so you can always look over it to make sure there's nothing new. And then this is where our notes are, so this is what I want to talk to you about. We fill these out every shift so we know what happened during the shift. So there's the daily cleaning notes, and then the cat care notes, and that's what I'm going to go over. So this is one example of the cat care notes from a previous shift. You always want to look over these for the previous shift so you know how the cats were doing and what things you want to be looking out for. This shows whether they ate, whether they drank, whether they pooped or peed, and then how they did behaviorally. Let's look at one example entry for Mavis. Mavis was in Kennel 2, and last shift the volunteer noted that her food bowl was half full, and so was her water. The volunteer didn't fill up her food because half full is enough for a single cat, and they filled up her water to 3/4 full. They cleaned her litter box and noted that she had both peed and pooed, and according to the poop chart at the bottom of the notes, her poop was of type 3, a good consistency. The volunteer didn't notice any health concerns and wrote that Mavis was super cuddly and confident when being pet and played with. This is a great entry. Once you've looked over the previous shift's notes, you should know what to look out for during your shift. It's a concern if a cat hasn't been eating, drinking, or using their litter box, and might be something to alert the rescue phone number about. You should also know if there are any behavioral notes to be aware of when interacting with the cats, like whether a certain cat doesn't do well with being picked up. Then you can start your own notes, adding your name and the date and time to the top. Then you're ready to let out some cats. Here's Erica, her kennel. Erica is a very shy cat, so she doesn't seem to really want to come out right now, but I'll go ahead and start cleaning her kennel. She's kept her kennel pretty clean. You can see her litter box looks pretty clean, her food bowl is full, her water bowl looks pretty full too. I do notice some hair and dirt from the litter box at the bottom of her kennel, so I grabbed the brush on the outside of the kennel. Every cat has their own brush. That's important to try to keep germs away from one another. And I'm going to go ahead and brush out the bottom of her kennel. So I pick up all that fur and debris and get it onto the dustpan, and then I'll throw that in the trash. And there it is, and that can go in the trash, and then her brush can go back on the outside of her kennel. If I'd noticed any like poop stains or any other gunk, I might grab a spray bottle and spray a paper towel and then wipe it down a little bit to get any stains off, but her kennel looks pretty clean. I noticed that her water bowl looks a little dirty, so I decided to dump out that water, wipe out that bowl, and then refill it. And then for her notes, I would just want to keep track of how much she had eaten and how much she drank. So her water bowl looked 3/4 full before I dumped it out. I'll fill it back up to 3/4 full, and I'll write each of those things down in her notes. Her food bowl looks full. After I replace Erica's water bowl, she decides she's ready for some pets and she's ready to eat. So that's a great sign. Even though she hasn't eaten very much since the last shift, she is eating, and she does seem pretty happy and healthy and friendly. And I noticed that she pooped during the last shift, so even though her box is clean right now, she does seem to be doing okay, and she does spend more time with me later in my shift. So I can write all those notes down so the next volunteer knows that Erica was friendly and sweet and seems to be doing okay.
Hello, do you have any questions about the cats?
I was just wondering what the adoption process is.
Yeah, let me help you with that.
Performing adoptions is one of the most rewarding and influential things you'll do at the Cattery. Adoptions are how these cats find forever homes. These are the steps for adopters listed on the door of the Cattery. You should read these signs to familiarize yourself with the steps that adopters need to follow so you can answer any questions. To meet the cats, they need to fill out an adoption application and have their application approved. If someone says they have been approved, you can text the rescue phone number with the name of the person to confirm they've been approved, and then you can let them in to meet the cats.
Hello, did you have a question?
Hey, my application got approved.
Oh, that's great. Do you want to come in and meet the cats?
Yes, please.
Yeah, come on in.
Awesome.
Once adopters come into the Cattery, you can ask them which cats they wanted to meet and let them meet those cats. Make sure you only let one kennel of cats out at a time to meet adopters. When they're ready to move on to the next group, if they're planning to meet another group, make sure you fully put away that group and then move on to the next one. You can also discuss with the adopters if they're not quite sure about which cat they want to adopt especially, but just in general to help them, what other pets they have at home and what their lifestyle is like, just to make sure it's going to be a good fit. Kittens do so much better going to a home that already has a cat to play with, or with a playmate. ARE offers a discount of $50 off of each kitten to adopters who decide to get 2 kittens, because we really want them to have that playmate to go home with. Similarly, senior cats may not like rambunctious kittens. Shy adult cats might be scared going to a home with a large dog if they've never met a dog before. And adult cats that need their boundaries respected, like an adult cat that you've noticed doesn't like to be picked up or might hiss or swat when you touch them in a way they don't like, that might not work so well in a home that has young kids. So just be mindful of those things, ask questions, and help adopters figure out who's perfect for them. Once the adopters have figured out who they want to adopt, you should text the rescue phone number with the name and the microchip number of the cat or cats that are being adopted. You will need to grab the microchip reader, which whoever's training you can help you with, and get the actual microchip number from the cat themselves, and then get a picture of that to send to the rescue so they can really confirm that you're getting the right cat. Then you should advise the adopter about the pet insurance offer that they will receive during the adoption process. They're going to get an offer for MetLife pet insurance, which will waive the waiting period that most pet insurance will offer. So we really like when adopters get that pet insurance because we know that they're going to be covered if any kind of emergencies happen, even the next day after adoption. Then the adopter will get a text message with a link to the adoption contract and the payment. They'll complete that adoption contract and payment, and then you'll receive a text from the rescue phone number confirming that the adopter completed checkout.
Hello, I need to perform a cat adoption. Can I have the iPad and a coupon booklet?
Of course.
Thanks.
After you've completed the part of the adoption for ARE, we also need to complete the part of the adoption for PetSmart. So you'll go up to a cashier and ask for an iPad and a coupon booklet, and they can help get you these things. Then you'll have to input the password, which might be different for each store. You'll press the home button, go to the Red Dog app, which you can see me clicking here, and then you'll fill out this page of information. You'll need to put in the store number, which will be different for each store. You'll need to select ARE from the drop-down, or you'll use the agency number, which just will depend on which store you're at. You'll insert the agency email, which is info@arerescue.org. And then you'll select the type, which will be either kitten or cat. If the cat is over a year, they're a cat. If they're under a year, they're a kitten. And I'm going to go ahead and do an example for Erica, who you met earlier. So I'll select cat, I'll put in her name, I'll put in her age, she's a year old, and then I'll put in her adoption fee, which is $100. You can always leave the spayed neutered checked because all of our animals are spayed or neutered. And then press continue. From there, it's up to the adopters to fill out, so you can hand it off to them. So after an adoption is complete, you complete the iPad, you request a coupon booklet from the store and make sure that the adopters receive it from PetSmart, and then allow the adopters to shop for anything they need. They will need to take their new cat home in a carrier, so make sure that they have one of those before they come back to the Cattery to pick up the cats. We also love to take adoption photos if the adopters are willing. You can either text this back to the rescue phone number or post it on our Facebook group yourself. This allows our fosters and other volunteers to celebrate the accomplishment of finding a home for the cats we've all been helping. The last major thing that we do at the Cattery is that we keep things clean. There's 3 main ways that things get clean: with Virex, soap and water, or via the laundry. Virex is a cat-safe spray as long as it's dry, but it is not food safe. It can be used to clean anything hard that doesn't go in a cat's mouth. Litter scoops, litter pans, kennel brushes, kennel brush holders, and kennels themselves are all cleaned with Virex. Hard things that will touch a cat's mouth or tongue, like hard toys and dishes, should be cleaned with soap and water. Optionally, other hard things can also be cleaned with soap and water, like litter pans. Finally, soft things should go in the laundry. Blankets, soft toys, and rags will all be washed with hot water and free and clear detergent and then dried on high heat. Virex is the cleaner in the light blue bottle. It looks like this. We use this for everything that we need to disinfect, and we always let it sit for 10 minutes when we're trying to fully disinfect something. And then this is the glass cleaner. It's in the dark blue per diem bottle. So here we are at the end of our shift. We're going to spray down all the litter scoops that we used during the shift. Here I'm just showing one, but you could do this for all of the litter scoops, or you can do it as you're going, either way. You'll spray both sides of all the litter scoops with Virex, and then set a timer for 10 minutes. It's important everything stays wet for 10 minutes, especially when it's dealing with litter, so that everything gets disinfected that could be on that litter scoop before we use it again. So now that my litter scoop has been sitting for 10 minutes, it's ready to be fully wiped off. If there was any major poop stains, I would have wiped it off ahead of time and then sprayed it with Virex so that the Virex was actually on the litter scoop itself. But this one didn't have any major poop stains, so I just sprayed it down, and now I'm wiping everything off, making sure to get all the litter, any visible stains, off of the litter scoop completely so it's completely clean. And then I'll throw out that paper towel that I used. I won't use it again for anything else. And then that can go back on the stack. So after an adoption has happened, it's really important that all of our kennels get completely cleaned. So you'll start by removing everything from the kennel. The blanket will go into the laundry, the litter box will get dumped out and it will be washed. The food and water bowls should be dumped out and those should also be washed. The hard toys, the soft toys, everything in the kennel needs to be removed. You should brush out the kennel like I showed earlier. You should wipe any spots that you see, and then you're going to fully spray this kennel, making sure to get every single nook and cranny. So you can see I got under all of the little shelves, I got the top of the kennel. Every single part of this kennel should have been sprayed down. And then the door should also be wiped. So you can get a washcloth. That's what you'll see me do here in just a moment. Spray that with Virex. And then clean every little nook and cranny on that door that a cat could have touched. Often cats will sneeze in their kennels, so they'll get lots of little goopy bits all over the place on the glass, on the kennel door, on the little metal bits in the kennel, so all of that should get wiped down. And then you should wait 10 minutes. So my kennel's been sitting for 10 minutes and it's ready to be wiped out, so I'm starting to get paper towels, wipe down every single part of that kennel. Just like when you're spraying it down, you want to make sure you get absolutely everything under all the shelves, the top. You can see there's a little bit of something under here I just noticed, so I'm starting to wipe that. No part of this kennel should go untouched. It should all be wiped out, and there shouldn't be any hair left, there shouldn't be any litter left, there shouldn't be any stains from any cat bodily functions. One thing that's nice about our kennels is that you can pull the metal sides off, so that can be lifted up and put down, and you can spray that as well if you didn't do that earlier. Make sure that gets sprayed down and wiped out. Also make sure that the sides, these metal sides of the kennel, get wiped. Those are often forgotten, but they can get gross too. Everything that could have touched a cat here should be cleaned, fully wiped down. And you can go over the door one more time if you notice any more spots left on it. Always good to make sure that those doors stay clean. Got our dish caddy, our litter box, and we'll go get a rag to dry dishes. And we're off to go do dishes. Make sure the door is closed. There we are. Now we're all ready to go. We've got our own dish soap, got our own sponges,
And we've got our dish caddy we can put down over here. Now we can wash these bowls in this litter box without you needing to use any of PetSmart's supplies. All of this will come back with us into the Cattery when we're done. All right, we're back from doing dishes. Now these are clean and they need to be fully dry. If they're not yet fully dry, you can leave them out for a few minutes so that all of the water can evaporate. And once they're fully clean and dry, they can go back on the pile. If you put wet dishes in a pile, they will just get moldy and gross. They will not be clean for the cats to eat off of. This litter box is clean and dry. It can go back in the stack up above kennel 5. This is also where we keep extra brushes. And pull this down. When brushes are clean and dry, they can go back in here. Once a kennel has been cleaned, you can put something to indicate that it's clean onto the kennel, so everyone knows.
At the end of every shift, we also sweep. So we get the brush and sweep the whole Cattery out. I'm just going to do a portion here to give you an example, but all this stuff that's fallen on the floor, these kittens dumped their food. Oftentimes there's litter all over the floor. All of that should get swept up. If you have time, you can move the cat tower or the toys in the playroom around so you can get everything under the cat tower that has managed to get under there. That all goes in the trash and move on. So about 3 times a week we try to mop the Cattery. We don't have to do this every shift, but it is good to do every once in a while. We spray the floor of the Cattery with Virex and then get the mop and we'll mop the floor. If you have time to let that sit for 10 minutes before you mop it, that'd be great too. So just like how we have care sheets for the cats, we have a daily cleaning checklist just to remind you of all the things that could need to be cleaned. And this includes some of the cat care items as well. So at the end of every shift, you'll go through this and you'll initial everything that you did for your day. If you didn't have time to do something and it wasn't something that was critical for cat care, that's okay. Just don't mark it so that the next volunteer knows that it wasn't done. And they'll be able to get to it when they can. Like mopping, we don't do every shift. So just mark it when you do it so that the next volunteers know whether it was done or wasn't done. And this is just a really helpful way to keep track of everything that you need to do during your shift. So I'm going to take you on a quick tour of the PetSmart in Oceanside. I'm going to show you all the places we sometimes need to go. There's the manager's office. We don't usually need to go in there. This is like the employee office. We do use this for making copies of our notes sheets whenever they run out. So here's the copy machine, and then here is the hole puncher. Sometimes we need to make copies and then hole punch them to go into our binder, so you know where that is. This is where we do dishes. So yes, you're allowed in here, and this is the sink. It's got hot water, cold water, and then there is Virex above the sink. Usually we don't need to fill our bottles here. I'll show you another spot for that in the back, but if the back ever doesn't have Virex, which sometimes happens, you can fill it at that sink. It's just slightly more confusing to use. So we're walking along the left side of PetSmart right now, and this is where the Cattery is, so we'll pass by the Cattery. You can see all of the kennel cards for all the cats are up. Whenever you do an adoption, make sure to take that kennel card down so that we know that the cat isn't available anymore. There's all our signage for how to adopt. And now we're moving towards the back of PetSmart. The door in front of us is the storage closet for ARE. We keep extra supplies in there like litter and food. If you ever don't have litter and food, you can ask a manager to open that storage closet for you because we likely have litter and food back there. Here's the bathrooms, good place to wash your hands or use the bathroom if you need to. And then here is the back door that has paper towels. There aren't any right now, usually they're on that bottom shelf. So usually this is where you can come to get paper towels. You can see there's some toilet paper there. Paper towels can sometimes be on that table too. And then there's a machine here that works kind of like a soda machine if you've ever used one of those before. It has the per diem and the Virex, so if you ever need to fill your bottles, we'll do that here. You can see that the water right now is running, but it's just being stopped up by this little black knob. So that's the position you want it to be in order to use the soda machine. So you want the water to be running and to be flowing through to the machine. And then there's the Virex and the per diem, and you can see there's a little selector. So you can select per diem or you can select back to Virex, put your bottle under, press, and that will flow. And then when you're done in here, you can turn off the lights, close the door, and move on. And then one more place to show you, which is where you put the trash. So if you're coming in the evening shift, we do ask that you take the trash out. So you'll take the trash bag from the Cattery back here.
I'm shooting a Cattery training video. So I'm just going to be walking around with my phone today. Let me know if you want a star.
And then here is where we put the trash. So you can see there's one trash bag down there. You just put it near that garage door and the PetSmart employees will take it out. And that's it. Inside the Cattery we keep buckets of food and then also of litter. We also keep wet food and treats in this cabinet. This is really great for when a cat hasn't been eating or it seems to be constipated. You can give them wet food. Also for shy cats, treats can be a good thing for helping to bring them out of their shell and get them to be more trusting with people. So we keep all of those things down here in this cabinet. Then I'm going to show you our drawers. So the top drawer has a bunch of clean toys. You can put fresh toys into a kennel that had dirty toys that you're cleaning. Or you can put these into a new kennel if you're setting up a new cat. Here's our blankets. These are where the clean blankets are. These all have Velcro on the bottom of them, so they stick into the kennels. So if a blanket's dirty, you can put the old one in the laundry, grab a new one. And then this is clean rags, sponges, and mop heads. You can get clean mop head if you notice that the old one is looking kind of gross. You can put the old one in the wash, in the laundry, and then put the new one on the mop. And then we have some office supplies down here. This is where our kennel cards are. So if you're ever setting up a new cat, you can fill out kennel cards here. And then we have like kennel card holders. Those can go outside the Cattery and be hung up so that people can see information about all the cats. We also have a little first aid kit here. If you're ever injured, like if you get a little cat scratch or something, you can use that first aid kit. And then down here we have some brushes, nail clippers, kind of a bunch of random things. You shouldn't need most of this, maybe the brush sometimes. Thank you so much for being interested in volunteering with ARE Animal Rescue. This concludes the training video. Please complete the quiz, and a volunteer will be in touch with you soon after you finish it to schedule your in-person training. Volunteering at the Cattery is fun and rewarding, and it's a great way to meet lots of amazing cats. We hope to see you soon.